download the FTC kit of parts. So first you want to go to this link. I'll put this in the description. And we want to choose 2015 FTC Tetrix Robot Kit of Parts. And so once you download this, it's going to come in a zip folder. You want to extract this to your desktop. Where is it? Right here. So I have it right here. And so once you have this, you want to go to the PTC Parametric 3.0 and wait till it opens. And what you want to do, you want to hit no, X out of the small windows, and you want to hit new. Now from here, you want to click on assembly. Assembly puts together parts, and then parts, well, it's just a part. And then sketch, you can make your own parts. So we're going to make a square using channels today. So I'm going to name this assembly square. And so we are going to have this interface. Now, first, what you want to do is get used to the points of view that you can use on this. So to move around on this, you want to use the scroll wheel or the middle mouse button and click on it and move your mouse. So it rotates whatever you see. And it shows this cube with 3 planes, assembly front, assembly top, and assembly right. And so you use the middle mouse button to control how you see, and if you want to move in a straight line, like along a line, you can hold shift and use the middle mouse button to click, and you move along a straight line. So this way it'll be easier for you to make constraints along the 3 planes. So we're going to first generate our first part into the assembly. So what you want to do, you want to go to wherever you put your kit of parts, and I put it on my desktop. So we're going to go to Tetrix Kit FTC, and it gives you this library full of parts with serial numbers. What you want to do from here is right click and hit views and hit thumbnails, so you can actually tell what they're showing you. And so here we have a bunch of parts that we can use. So I want to generate a channel, so I'm going to look for a channel, and here we have a channel. So we're going to hit open. And now once you hit open, it's going to come up with this 3D model of a channel. And you can use many channels to build whatever you want, or just assemble parts. And so it's going to follow your cursor, and what you want to do from here, for it to stop following your cursor, you can just left click and the sphere shows up. The sphere will be later used to rotate the piece. And so since this is your first part, you don't really have to make any constraints to anything. So what you want to do is go to this little corner right here and hit the drop down menu and go to default. And what this is going to do is set this as your base piece, so you can make constraints to this piece. And once it's fully constrained, as in like it can't move, it's going to turn orange, and you want to hit the check box, and then it's going to go to its natural color. The channel would normally be like a grayish metallic color. And so as you can see, I'm using the middle mouse button, so you can look at the channel from different points of view, and then you can use the shift middle mouse button to move along. And so as you can see, you can use this to make many constraints, such as like ones to the holes if you're going to put in screws, or ones to the side if you're going to align the channels up. So that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to assemble another piece, and we're going to hit open since we're using the same part, and it's going to come up with the same thing as before. And so what you want to do is just click anywhere, left click anywhere, and the same sphere is going to show up. Now since you want to make it level to this, what you want to do first, we're going to make a square, so you got to make the side first. So use the green to rotate this axis. So this is one axis, this is another, and the arrows are to move it along the line, so you can use it like that. And then the middle one is just move it in any direction, just like in a 3D motion, anywhere along the 3D plane. Now, so what you want to do from here is you want to make it level. So we're going to make the constraint with these two planes right here. So we're going to click on one plane, and this little dotted line is going to come from that one plane. What you want to do is drag that dotted line, well, not drag, just bring it over to this plane and click on it, and it's going to make it level. So as you can see, it's level, but it's not exactly, oh, whoops, shoot, I'm going to have to do that again. Assemble, do this really quick. So try to watch out when you use the middle mouse button, because when you're making constraints and you accidentally click the middle mouse button, you could accidentally set the component down where you don't want it. So I'm going to make the same constraint, and now to make this right next to the this channel, we're going to click on this little arc right here, and we're going to make a constraint to this plane, and it's going to make its own constraint, but in this case we want coincident. So there we go. I know it looks kind of funky because it's like right next to the thing, but we can make that work. So now you want to zoom out and use the shift middle mouse button and view this plane, and this plane you can make it coincident to the arc on this channel right here. So we're going to click right here, and this line's going to pop up again. What you want to do is move your mouse around. There we go, there's a better view. And so you want to find this arc, and you make the constraint, and there you go. It's fully constrained, so once it's fully constrained, it's always going to turn orange. And as you can see, it's perfectly aligned, and so we can hit the check. And so you have your first piece right here, and so we're going to do this 2 more times just to demonstrate the constraints. And so we go to here, and we generate another piece. Now you can bring in the same thing, the same channel, and it'll have preset constraints, because it's going to use your last model with the same constraints, so you can just use the same thing. So we're going to flip this around and move this way, because I think I made constraint to the other one. Okay. Never mind. Don't change it along that axis. Just keep it that way. So now you can see it's highlighting this arc right here. So we already made that constraint back here, so you just have to click to the other surface that you want to make the constraint to. So it's right next to each other. Last constraint is this plane against this one. Most of the time when you generate a part into PTC Creo, it's going to have the constraints that you used previously, and sometimes this can be good and sometimes this can be bad. So what you want to do here is, if you don't want to keep the same constraints after you set it down using your left mouse button, as you can see it has all these constraints already. If you don't want to use the same constraints and you want to use it for something else, you want to go into this corner right here and click on this. Now this allows you to have your own user-defined constraints. So you will have preset constraints because of the old one. And here you can just freely do the same constraints. And then if you want to keep the old constraints, then you just click yes, and you'll have the same constraints as before. So in this case, we're going to make this the same right here, and this one will make it coincident to this arc right here, if you could see that. There we go. And now you can see it's fully constrained, and we have made a square of channels. And once you check that, you can view it from all angles. This gives you a better idea of where you want to put things. And if you screw up by any chance, or you put something where you don't want it to be put there, what you can do is go to this model tree right here, where it tells you what parts you've put into the assembly by order. Like the one at the bottom is the one you just most recently put. The default one would be usually at the top. You can click right here. Let's say I want to move this just a little bit, or the bottom one just a little bit. You right click and you go to edit actions, and you see this little this sphere with the pen on it. It says edit the definition of the selected object. Click that, it'll bring you back here. And what you can do is change your constraints. So like, let's see, I want this to be parallel. And now it's not fully constrained because it's parallel. But yeah, you can just change the constraints based on how you want it. Yeah, and I think that's it for today's video.